The knock on the door came at 6:15 p.m. The sun was dipping low, casting amber rays across the veranda, bathing the weathered gray wood in shades of comfort and promise. Inside, Ethan Carter, 36, weary, optimistic, and utterly uncertain, stood gazing at the door as if it might burst into flames. His pulse raced. It wasn't just a knock. It was the sound of possibility, the sound of something fresh, perhaps something restorative. For the first time in 4 years, he himself believed that joy could knock again. But nothing could have prepared him for who stood on the other side or what she would say. He opened the door. There she was, poised, self-assured yet tender, with a warmth in her eyes that made him feel truly noticed for the first time in ages. Her blonde hair fell in waves over her shoulders, and her smile, it wasn't just lovely, it was compassionate. Then she leaned in slightly, her voice soft, as if sharing a quiet truth. "I just wanted to let you know," she said gently. "My kids are waiting in the van." Ethan froze. His smile wavered. His breath caught. Not because he was angry, not because he didn't want this, but because that single sentence unraveled a piece of him he kept tightly bound for far too long. If you believe in compassion, second chances, and the beautiful chaos of real-life love stories, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul Chronicles. Your support helps us keep sharing these emotional, meaningful journeys. 4 years earlier, Ethan had been a different man. Back then, he was a husband, a father, carpenter who rose at 4:30 a.m. to share breakfast with his little boy before school. Life wasn't flawless, but it was full until it wasn't. His wife, Sarah, was diagnosed with a rare lung condition just 6 months after their son's 5th birthday. It came quickly, too quickly. Hospitals, treatments, late-night prayers murmured to a ceiling that stayed silent. Then stillness, a hospital bed, a cold hand, a goodbye that arrived too soon. Ethan became both parents overnight. He left his job, took on smaller woodworking projects to stay home more, and built his world around his son, Noah. Love, though, became a sealed vault. Not because he didn't crave it, but because he felt guilty for wanting it. Each time he considered moving forward, he felt he was betraying Sarah. His friends nudged him gently. His brother arranged a few blind dates, but Ethan always backed out, until last month. Until Olivia. They had connected through a local community group. Olivia was different. Her messages were sincere, her humor gentle. She never pressed. She listened. She asked about Noah. She shared stories of her own children, twins, age 7. She, too, had emerged from a shattered chapter, not from loss, but from abandonment. Her husband had left when the twins were 4, and she had been piecing her life back together ever since. So here they were now, standing on Ethan's veranda, the twilight glow making the moment feel almost dreamlike. Ethan glanced past her for a moment and saw 2 small heads peeking from the back of a parked minivan. He swallowed hard. His first instinct was to retreat, to panic. Was he ready? Olivia, sensing his hesitation, stepped back slightly. "We don't have to do this," she said softly, reading the turmoil in his eyes. But Ethan surprised himself. He didn't close the door. Instead, he stepped aside and invited her in. It wasn't about being ready. It was about being courageous. The evening unfolded gradually. Noah, cautious at first, crept out of his room when he heard laughter from the kitchen. Olivia had brought her kids inside too, Lucas and Emma, and the living room soon turned into a playground of cushions and pretzels. Ethan watched from the doorway, arms folded, a whirlwind of memories and emotion swirling within. Noah was laughing, truly laughing. He hadn't seen that light in his son's eyes in so long. Over the next few weeks, what began as a single date grew into quiet strolls, board game evenings, and cozy family-style dinners. The 4 kids became close, first like friends, then something nearer to siblings. Ethan and Olivia moved slowly. They both carried scars. Some nights, Olivia sat quietly on the veranda after tucking her kids in, wrestling with guilt over her children's fractured home. Other nights, Ethan stared at Sarah's photo, silently seeking her approval. But love isn't a sudden storm. It's a gradual thaw. For Ethan, every smile Olivia offered, every time she helped Noah with his math homework, every morning tea she left on his doorstep before heading to work, it chipped away at the walls he'd built around his heart. The turning point came one stormy Sunday. Ethan had planned to take the kids to the aquarium, but a dead battery and a jammed garage door turned the morning into a mess. He snapped, not at the kids, but at himself. Olivia found him in the shed, head in his hands. I can't do this, he whispered. What if I fail them all? Olivia didn't speak at first. She just sat beside him in the quiet. Then she murmured, You haven't failed. You're here. That's more than most ever manage. Something in Ethan broke open, not painfully, but liberatingly. Over the following months, the two families slowly blended into one. It wasn't always smooth. There were meltdowns, awkward moments, and the occasional misunderstanding. But there was also joy, growth, forgiveness, and love, real, grounded love. One evening, nearly a year after that first knock, Ethan took Olivia's hand as the kids played in the backyard. You know, he said with a half smile, when you told me your kids were in the van, I almost shut the door. Olivia laughed. I know. You looked like you'd seen a shadow. Ethan squeezed her hand. I think I did. The shadow of the man I used to be. But you helped me find someone stronger. They didn't rush into anything formal. The kids called them by their first names. There's no pressure, just love, honest, patient love. If this story moved you, if you believe in second chances, blended families, and love after loss, please like, share, and subscribe to Soul Chronicles. It helps us keep sharing stories that matter. Special request, please comment below with your thoughts. Did Ethan's journey remind you of someone in your life? We'd love to hear your story. Let's keep the compassion flowing.